Okay, let's get started. Now we are discuss about the Poetics by Aristotle, section 13, epic poetry, its construction, epic and tragedy, compared and contrast, chapter 23. Construction of epic poetry, Homer's skill. As for the poetry which merely narrates or imitates by means of versified language without action, it's evident that it has several points in common with tragedy. The construction of its stories should clearly be like that in a drama. They should be based on a single action, one that is a complete whole in itself, a beginning, middle, and end, so as to enable the word to produce its own proper pleasures with all the organic unity of a living creature. Nor should one suppose that there is nothing like them in our usual histories. Our history has to deal not with one action but with one period and all that happened in that to one or more person, however disconnected. Several events may take place at the same time. For example, the sea fight of Salamis and the battle with Carthaginians in Sicily without coveraging to the same, and so too of two constructive events one may sometime come after the other with no one and at their common issue. Nevertheless, nevertheless, most of our epic poets, one may say, ignore the distinctions. Herein, then, to repeat what we have said before, we have further proof of Homer's marvelous superiority to the rest. He did not attempt to deal even with the Trojan War in its entirety, though it was a whole with a definite beginning and end. Though our feelings appreciate apparently that it was too long or strong to be taken in one view, or if not that too complicated from the variety of incident in it, as it's has he has singled out one section of the whole, many of the other incident. However, he brings in episodes using the catalog of the ship, for instance, and other episodes to reveal the ununiformity of the narratives. Section 3, the constructions of epic and comprehensions with tragedy. Comparison with tragedy. Chapter 23. The construction should be similar to drama. After examining tragedy in deal, Aristotle's come to the epic or narrative poetry. The epic narrates in versified language and doesn't imitate an action, as tragedy does through acting, yet there are a number of similarities between epic poetry and tragedy. The construction of an epic should be similar to that of drama. The story, in other words, should be constructed along dramatic principles. There should be a single action in the epic. There should be unity of story. There should be beginning, middle, and end, and there of story. There should be beginning, middle, and there should be an organic unity. Homer superior in this as in other aspects, realized the importance of selecting a portion of the Trojan War. Throughout, although in this chapter Aristotle remarks that the unity is two epic stories of Homer show his marvelous superiority, he admits in chapter 18 that the Iliad, with its polarity of the stories, connect by the successfully dramatized in chapter 26. He says that the requires less unity than the drama. These views seem to contradict one another. Apparently, Aristotle means that though the epic allows for greater variety than tragedy, its story should not be so vast to as to be confusing. The example gives by Aristotle once again are obscure because the works have been lost. Some of the stories can be determined from prose summarizes in book and Greek mythology. Further, in this chapter, Aristotle once again tells us that epic poetry isn't like history, thus, it should not take a period of time as its subject. A period of time in a certain hero's life may admit many actions and deeds. Many experiences may befall him in that time, but they wouldn't constitute unity of action. Unity of action is directed toward one end, the epic. The epic's actions too should be directed towards such an end. The general law of unity laid down for an epic poem is almost the same as that for the drama, but the drama forms a more compact the series whole. In drama, the events are more directly related to the development of character. As for other epic poets, they take a single hero, a single period, or a single action indeed, but with a multiplicity of parts. This last is what the authors of the Cypria and Little Iliad have done. And the result is that Iliad and the Odyssey each furnish the subject of one tragedy or at most of two, while the Cypria supplies materials for many and the Little Iliad for eight. Okay, do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.